Hello, I'd like to talk about the British playwright called Harold Pinter. The reason is that I have been a theater aficionado for a long, long time. Ever since I came to the United States, I started to study English as a second language. No, it's not true that in Japan they teaches you English from the 12th, no, it's 10th, like a junior high school, and the English is the big study topics in Japan. Many people want to study and being fluent in English. And so I studied in Japan, and I came to the United States after I was already 27 years old. And when I was in Japan, I was conversing with tourists and so forth in English, and even I lived with British the attaché, junior attaché's family, young junior attache's family, taking care of their kids, and that's I thought I was fluent, but when I came to the U.S. and all of a sudden I couldn't understand what they're telling me. I landed in Seattle and SeaTac Airport, and I was asking directions to some people who are cleaning the bathrooms and so forth. And they spoke so fast, and I couldn't understand what they're saying. All right, and then I got into university, and the first day of university, I went to the registration office, and I couldn't understand the thing that these people are telling me what to do, what to apply for, or whatever. But anyway, so my English history is long, but my ability in speaking and understanding is very slow process, and still, I can't be good English, fluent English speakers, even after 45 years living in this country. I still cannot do it. But what I like that studying English is that I started to enjoy the culture, the English speaking culture, like movies and songs and so forth. But one of the things that I really enjoyed is the going to the theater to see the play in English, and I started to go to the small places like university theaters and so forth, and attended some plays, and I realized that wow, I understand what they're saying, and I really started to enjoy the play. Mostly, when you understand what they are speaking, you appreciate how good their acting is. And to this day, I am amazed how good the actors are. If you attend some plays and so forth, and and you realize they are flawless, actually flawless in speech. They don't make any mistakes. They don't say or anything like that. And they are perfect English and perfect intonation, perfect pause, and there's perfect acting, of course, and they do, so I really admire their abilities. Now, I never could be like that, of course not. Even in Japanese, I couldn't be like that. My language skill in both English and Japanese is terrible. But anyway, some people have a talent, and I admire for that. So I started to enjoy, of course, like Tennessee Williams, Eugene O'Neill, and then some shepherds. I like to talk about some shepherds other time, but those American plays and so forth, I really enjoyed. And then only maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was talking to this lady who used to be an actress, and who is I think directing the plays, and she was telling me about lots of stuff that she's doing, and then I thought, I'm a big fan of theaters, and I enjoyed Tennessee Williams and Eugene O'Neill's and all those stuff, and I really like that. And do you I asked her, what do you recommend? And she said Harold Pinter. Well, Harold Pinter, I know the names. Names seems to be very familiar, but I didn't know much about him. So it goes that you thought you are theater aficionado. You didn't know anything about Harold Pinter, all right? But anyway, she told me there's a Harold Pinter, and I immediately went to the bookstore, and bought some book, right? This Essential Pinter, and it has plays like The Birthday Party, Caretaker, and Homecoming, and the Celebration, the Old Times, One of the Road, and so forth, okay? And I started to read this play, and I was mesmerized and very fascinated. It is so funny to begin with. It's funny and something like kind of a ridiculous, or kind of a how do you describe it? It's like a out of the world ridiculousness or whatever, and I don't know the English terminology for that. But I was taken by this, and of course YouTube has lots of his plays. Thankfully YouTube, that's why I like YouTube very much. I started to watch, and one of the things I watched is The Caretaker. This is a DVD. I finally bought the DVD. This one is a black and white British production, 1962. That going back to that old Harold Pinter, and this is mind-boggling. It's only like a main character is 3 people, and each one of them very fascinating. And it's about an old man who destitute, I would say, get into this household with 2 brothers, and trying to get accepted and so forth. But those 2 brothers, especially older brother, is a little bit, wacky, a little bit strange, but no stupid or anything like that. But it's about the situation where he comes in and try to see how he can try to get in there to his house to be like a caretaker or something like that. And it's about that, but in this particular version, Aram Bates is a young brother, and I think the Robert Shaw is an older brother. Both of them very, very good, especially Robert Shaw. There's a monologue, it's called Aston's monologue, and there's a lot of them in the YouTube, and it's so strong, and so I'm taken by it, and wow, and also I had to get this DVD. Alright, then I found later on there is this version. This is it's called Le Gardien in the French. And the French versions of the Harold Pinter's play in the YouTube, one of the actor, young brother who played the young actor, who is Silly, what is that? No, I cannot see Solunin or something like that. He put it out his this version of his play. He played in that some Paris French theater, and this particular version, spoken in French, but essence is that Harold Pinter's the play's essence is there, and gosh, wow! It's I really enjoy it. It's nothing to do with the English language, very straight. This is a French. Now, of course, I'm French is my second foreign language I studied, and I should be, more or less like understanding the movies and so forth, but I don't. I hardly speak French and I hardly understand French. But watching this video, I think I give you a description below. You should watch this. Again, it's so good, and those three actors playing this role, so mesmerizing. But anyway, so that's the Gardien, and the original is the Caretaker. Caretaker just found the Jonathan Pryce did a while ago in Broadway, and there's some little bits of Jonathan Pryce version of it. But anyway, so introduced by this particular video, I started to look for his material in the YouTube. Oh my God, YouTube! I loved it. So many Harold Pinter's plays, mostly I would say British production, and some of them are American, but you can search through that, and so good. Especially the one that I really like, it's called The Celebration, and it's actors in there is like Colin Firth, Penelope Wilton, and so forth. But there are lots of famous actors in there, and mesmerized. So funny and so eccentric. Eccentric is the words I'm looking for. I was looking for. So I would also put a description down there. You should see this particular version. Colin Firth is very good, and the other people are very, very excellent. And the other stuff, all of them, I think it's very, very good. The Room, which has Linda Hunt as one of the actors there, and Birthday Party, which is John Polite is in there, and Dumb Waiter, and Homecoming, No Man's Land. This is like only a two-man's play. So, these plays, oh gosh, thanks to YouTube, I really, really enjoyed. I don't have much opportunity to see the real theater. And of course, if you go to the New York and Broadways and so forth, or if you live in a big city like Chicago, probably you have lots of productions and you enjoy those. But anyway, I didn't have opportunity to see those in the live production. And also, it's not that common to see Harold Pinter's play. Even this area here, the university productions and so forth, it's not that common, but it has been very, very popular in this country as well. And I really strongly recommend get some of these books of his play and start to read this. and you will love this. And the reason why I talk about the English language, because the English language, if you understand, if you appreciate the beauty, not the beauty, yeah, beauty or like a subtle, I don't know. I think mostly, the tradition of like a Shakespeare, for example, it's like they act out in the play, and the actors are so magnificent to do that role. People fell in love with those actors as well, and the plays and so forth. And they kind of recite the English Shakespearean phrases, in their mind, in their head, and they enjoy that how sounds like the English sounds like. And the English, I compare, because Japanese is the first language. I compare with Japanese, and it's suited for songs, probably, and suited for speech. In a short amount of time, you can say a lot of things in English. Japanese is a little bit, I think, cramped in there, and the sentences are trimmed because it's not complete sentences. That's the Japanese way of saying things. And but in English, they say complete sentences in a short amount of time. And I think that's what it is, the English, power of English. Yeah, I don't know much about other language like French and Italian, German. I have no idea any other language, but compared to Japanese, it's much more suited for theater or musical, especially when you sing. It's very, very nice. Although Japan, Japanese people, I tremendous respect for them. They translate those things into Japanese, and they have their own version of it, and it's fantastic. Those plays and so forth. But theater culture in Japan is not that big. I would say only in Tokyo, and only only small percentage of the intellectual enjoy seeing the plays there. And of course, there's old Japanese plays too, and a lot of good playwright also. There's a lot of good thing, but also they translate the language to Japanese, and they do the plays and the musical. And it's great. But in Korea, I think the Korean people has more freedom to enjoy those things, and that they are much more experimental, and they take Western materials very, very quickly, and they do, and they are very successful in there. So those are Korea and Japan, but I have to talk about it later. But it's a little bit different culturally, and I tremendously have also respect to the Korean theater culture. Very good, like musicals and productions and so forth. Very, very good. But anyway, so the English, if you are learner of English, of course you study Shakespeare. Sorry, I studied why you study English, and this question is often asked in Japan, Japanese society, because they have a tremendous emphasis on studying English and also speaking English. But because the Japanese language is very different from the English language, for some people it's very, very difficult, me included, very difficult to learn a foreign language, period. But if you don't speak well, even you don't understand 100%, but still it's worthwhile to study English, because the culture, the English civilization created English language is culturally very, very, I think big and enjoyable and fun. If you know that, English language become an international language. It's almost like Esperanto, right? Okay, so you have to study English regardless. And if you go to some level of English, you start to enjoy to watch the movies in English, Americans and the British films, and then also you start to enjoy the musicals. I think that's very big culture in America, and also Britain, a very huge musical culture there. Nowhere else that produces that kind of a material. Just because it's a language, English language is suited for that particular culture, experience there. So if you enjoy it, just believe me, I'm just trying to tell you that, yeah, I'm glad that I got to know the English language and I got to enjoy those things. Reading books as well in English is very good, and so please study hard and try to enjoy, rather than suffer from too much studies or whatever. Just enjoy the experience of understanding and so forth. You don't have to speak in perfect English, right? Of course, some people have a difficulty in speaking perfect English, and some people have an easier time to speak in English, even though you are a second English learner. But you really have to study. So, okay, that's what I wanted to say, and enjoy the Harold Pinter's play. Okay?